Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Pick Six. I'm your host, Mike Wobschall. It's game week, but we have a couple of days till kickoff, so we have something to bide your time. We'll answer your questions. Let's get to work. Question number one comes from Erica in Bloomington. Who has the bigger game on Sunday, Diggs or Thielen? Tough one. The Vikings have receiver 1 and receiver 1A, and Diggs and Thielen, both of them are going to be productive players for the Vikings this season. Now Diggs, he has a tendency to start really well during seasons. He had a big game against the Saints last season in week 1, so maybe I'll lean toward him, but I think their production is going to be pretty similar in week 1 and for the season. Question number 2 comes from Nick in Orlando. Who on the 49ers offense should we keep an eye on? Who can threaten us? Well, Nick, if you remember back to the preseason, week 3 last year, Marquise Goodwin got over the top on our defense. So watch out for him. He wears jersey number 11. Also, Vikings Radio Network analyst Pete Bercich broke down a play of Marquise Goodwin's from the preseason. So if you want to learn more about Goodwin, check out Bercich's film study on Vikings.com. The next question comes from Jonas. After Newman retired, is Mike Hughes set as the new starter at nickel? I think Mike Hughes is one of the guys who will be in there at nickel, and he could be the starter in week 1 because Mackenzie Alexander is on the injury report, so his status is up in the air. But between Mackenzie, Alexander, and Mike Hughes, the Vikings have 2 good options at nickel. The next question comes from Harold in Mankato. Who will our kickoff and punt returners be? That's an interesting question. Let's start with the punt returner. I think it's going to be Marcus Sherels. He's been doing it since 2010 at a very high level. No reason to look back now. When it comes to the kickoff returners, though, the Vikings have a few options. Mike Hughes, first-round draft pick, is an option. He did it in college. I think he can do it in the pros. He has really good speed. Marcus Sherels, also a good option as a kickoff returner. And in weeks when he is active and playing on Sundays, Holton Hill has the opportunity potentially to do it. Remember, in the preseason, he had a good kickoff return and flashed a little bit. So the Vikings have some options when it comes to kickoff returners. The next one comes from DJ. Will Kirk Cousins prove himself and get us a Super Bowl win finally? Well, that's why he was brought here, to help us get to a Super Bowl. But let's remember, it's not all on the shoulders of Kirk Cousins. Football is a team game, and you have to play well around the quarterback. Just look at last year's Super Bowl winners. As an example, the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, who wasn't even their starting quarterback during the regular season. It's a team game. Here's the good news. The Vikings have a good team. And the final question comes from Mary. Hope the team is aware of 2015 when we started at the 49ers and how it ended. I don't want us looking ahead or taking any team for granted. Mary, if you want to be the one to remind Coach Zimmer of that game, I'll let you do it. But I can assure you, Zimmer and the Vikings have not forgotten about that game. But I'd also say, I don't think the Vikings overlooked the Niners that night, and they will not overlook the Niners on Sunday. Here's what it comes down to. It comes down to playing well. Coach Zimmer always says it doesn't matter who you play, where you play them, or when you play them. It matters how you play. So the Vikings are focused on themselves. They're going to be ready to go on Sunday. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Pick Six. We will be back next week with another edition, so keep sending your questions in to the email address at the bottom of the screen. In the meantime, stay tuned to Vikings.com, including on Sunday, game day. We will have wall-to-wall coverage of Vikings game day as they open up the 2018 season against the San Francisco 49ers. See you next week.